Good morning. It's June 25th, 2026, and I'm addressing this, and it's about trust reform and about dialogue through arts, which I feel will solve a lot of problems in society when people aren't convenient for the business environment. At least we can set them aside and let them develop arts, right? Into painting, drawing, journaling, oral history, poetry, whatever suits the person. Even physically restricted people can control a cursor on a screen with some of this technology. So these are investments that can be made that will make our society more caring instead of just sidelining people to tent cities. Which, I mean, we had Hoover Towns in the 30s, right? We can do better, right? We're 100 years ahead in technology, so we can do better. So like, here's the thing: why I wanted to take on trust reform. I was locked out of a dialogue. I was evaluated in '85, and then now in 2009, I signed this thing, or 2008, and I agreed I was going to say, okay, what my family needs is this agreement, and I thought everybody had good intentions. And so like it reinforced the locked out conversation and dialogue patterns that went back 40 or 50 years in my family. Actually, more like, 50 years of I was excluded from dialogue because I did not have speech communication. So I'm a writer. I'm a bachelor in journalism that I got after I got diagnosed, thanks to a caring therapist, PhD, who encouraged me to go and study. And I studied journalism, and I practiced for decades in that. So I think there are clever saboteurs in my family and vandals. That's a hint. That's the guy's pseudonym. I believe he's faking stuff that I would never write to make me look bad. And always hurting is the disability movement. Always hurting is his own conscience too. So let's stop that. Let's look into that and see who's doing what. Because I can't waste my time being fictionalized here. So look, because of convenience, people end up in tent cities, right? They don't fit in. They don't have skills. And this is why my foundation, our strengths, which I would use 150 to 200 songs that I wrote from roughly 2000 to 2025 and fund these, have major artists do these, and then open the disability awareness movement to get communication funded at a grade school level through private. It could be private charities. It's a charity. So, get people to understand interpersonally, like how to talk, how to look at the person and know, and take the time to figure them out instead of just, oh, you don't really have a job for you. We don't have a job for you. We don't have a job for you. So, you're in a tent city now, and then who knows? Oh, Olympics are coming 2 years, so we better clean up the city. So, so there's plenty of land in the U.S. So, it takes investment of 5 years, I would say, to go from finger painting to where it makes you feel terrible when you finger paint. But after 5 years, taking the time to sketch or tell a story or any art that appeals to you, after 5 years, you could reach a level, and then maybe that sidelining to a tent city is not necessary anymore because they have a sustainable lifestyle that keeps them out of trouble, basically. So, so that's kind of it. On a NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness thing, about 2 or 3, 4 years ago during the COVID, I was on a group where I was getting a peer certification, and a prison guard was on there, and he said, these guys I talked to, one of them told me, this is the first time anybody's actually listened to me. And I said, well, that's probably why he's there. A lot of these guys are in there in the first place. And he said, yeah. So the point being, like, taking the time to listen, understand, will prevent problems later if the person feels valued. And even if they aren't convenient to the economy, at least they can be developed into a sustainable artistic career or something sustainable. So let's be careful here with this stuff. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I applied for at Arizona State University. I live in California, but they have an excellent disability studies program, and I couldn't afford it because the out-of-town fees were crazy. And I know there's some radical voices in the disability movement, but these are rather sensible. Beginning with Disability by Leonard J. Davis, very good. Some good stories, very good. Not offensive, really, just good. This one too is more theory. Disability studies is interesting. Disability studies. Ron J. Berger. These are both very excellent. They are not radical or controversial. This one's way more textual and more analytical. These are more essays. So very good stuff. I think we need to work together and figure out how to make it to where less mistakes happen with disabled people, less casualty, less loss. Thank you.